Yes, boys and girls and fans of this channel, welcome back. And it's now been well over a week before, when my first video went online on is it worth the hype and worth the money. Very proud of that, and it's doing well. And if you're still interested in checking out what my thoughts on that was concerning Spider-Man, just go to my channel, search for that video. And today we're going into one game that is really close to the heart. That is Tomb Raider. The franchise has always been fun to play since the very early days. The first installment, it was PS2, I believe, which was phenomenal. And especially the last two installments, so not this one, Shadow, but Rise of the Tomb Raider, and the one before that was on the PS3, were really good games. They were graphically they were good, and yes, it had its shortcomings. It did, but I'm also happy that Eidos Montreal is making enough money of this franchise to keep feeding us with new installments of this one, and that's my first point. If it comes to is it worth the hype? I would say it is worth a hype. This game, really. Where is the hype? And I know that Eidos Montreal took a huge risk in launching days after Spider-Man. And don't get me wrong, Spider-Man is a PS4 exclusive, record sales smashing on all fronts. But you know that you're going to miss out on a certain group of people, because people can only spend their money once, of course. I played mine, this new installment on my Xbox in 4K. I don't have the PS4 Pro. I have still the base. I still have the base PS4. No, but my Xbox is 4K with my 4K home cinema set, 4K television, and let's just bring it out there. I'm going into detail. Graphics are phenomenal of this game. Really, they are. But let's get back to this whole release date and the choices they made here. I think it's on one side a risk, but on the other side, it did give Microsoft the opportunity to push this game with their console, especially for the Xbox One X, of course, with 4K. And they did, because especially in the Netherlands here, you saw a lot of commercials and advertising popping up with the Xbox One X and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And I think that's a good decision, because the PS4 guys, for most, they were distracted on one side, of course, because a lot of people were playing Spider-Man, and of course there were still people picking up this game because they don't like Spider-Man or whatever. But you know that the whole sales of your game is not going to be record smashing on the PS4, so Xbox One really took the advantage of this loop. Because it's a different discussion. Xbox is missing exclusives, so push this game then with the 4K, because that's really making the difference here. So jumping into the 4K, I was really blown away, especially with the cutscenes. Lara looks phenomenal in terms of how she's built and her skin, and especially that scene with the panthers or the tigers. I will not get into a huge spoiler mode here, but in the beginning you have fight with two panthers, I believe, on top of my head, and especially those cutscenes that are in there are so phenomenal, and one of is the thumbnail in this for this video. It's really good. It's got a photo mode. I think it's going to be some kind of a trend, because every third-person RPG action adventure game is getting its fair share of photo modes. But it's really fun to play around with this one, because the graphics are phenomenal, especially in 4K. So yeah, it's really good. I did saw my occasional glitches left and right. They really try to make the gameplay really flow into the cutscenes and then flow back into the gameplay. And sometimes you do see some loading screens, because there is a huge difference, of course, between what they present in cutscenes and especially in the gameplay. There is also a difference, of course, and they did some tricks. You will see it to make that feel like it's going smooth from one side to another. It did saw some glitches of popping up of environmental stuff in the distance, but it's not much. It will not distract you from anything. The environments are second to none. It's absolutely great. It's especially in the beginning you have that Mexican, I thought it was Mexico, Peru type of, not Mexico city where it's dark and there is that Festival of the Dead with all those candles and those color scheme. It's absolutely fantastic, and then it flows into the Peru jungle, which is really, really nicely built. It's really impressive. And yeah, we've got a great addition now in the story. Jonah, in the last installment in Rise, he did play his role. He was there, but he was more a character. He was just there, and he was in the cutscenes, and he was in the story mode, and fine. But now he actively plays a role. You really have areas where you play around with and solving puzzles, the two of you guys, which is great. And the only remark in terms of the story I have is that maybe it's a bit too short. If you're a reasonably good gamer and you will sit down at 10 o'clock in the morning, I guarantee you that at around 6 o'clock, maybe 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you've got this game finished. So the length to me is a shortcoming here. Yeah, it is. And if it comes down to the gameplay as a whole, you do have your base camps, and you do have the whole upgrade system of your weapons and who you are, your personal, blah, blah. And that whole new scheme you have with all the new capabilities you can earn, you have to get used to that. It's a huge palette of red, green, blue, and Mayan type of style of graphics. So it's a bit, you have to get used to it and have a good look on what you want to unlock and where and when and how. But the fun thing is, ladies and gentlemen, in Rise of the Tomb Raider, you had your overview of different suits and different pants and how you looked and what you wore. Now you can play as the original Lara Croft Tomb Raider. It's pretty fun to have that, and also in these styles of graphics. Maybe it was PlayStation 1 even graphics. It's absolutely hilarious. So that's just a nice, fun addition, and I would say a good reference to the good old days. So that's fun. The story in general is pretty good, and I thought the story is, of course, Trinity is there, everything you know from Lara Croft is there, but the story is just good. It's fun. So we had a strong graphics, good gameplay, nice story. It's a bit too short. You will have your occasional glitches, but hey, they really, this is a game on steroids. It really looks good. Sound is well, it's good. It's just good. So overall, the game is really good, and to me, it will deserve an 8 out of 10. So it's worth the hype, it's worth your money, it got an 8 out of 10. And to me, this entire franchise deserves more. It really does. If there is such a hype around Drake, which is more or less the same game, right? We were talking about whether it's a woman or a guy, but the treasure hunters, and so it's practically the same game. And how cool is it? Lara Croft is just in general a cool character, and it's a cool lady, strong story, good graphics. There's a lot of love put in this game. So to me, if you're an Xbox One owner, you don't have this game yet, this is a must-have. Whether you've got the base Xbox One, the Xbox One S, or the Xbox One X, especially the latter one, you need to have this game, full stop. It's really a fun game to play. If you're on the PS4, don't want to go into the Spider-Man, buy this game. It's really fun. And if you've got Spider-Man, I would just advise you to finalize Spidey quickly, then jump into this one. It's really a fun change of pace if you compare it to Spidey. So my verdict is worth the hype. It's worth a hype, so yes. And it's definitely worth your money. So guys, this was it for for this week. I will be updating you quickly on what the next edition will be. In the meantime, I will be uploading my random plays of Rainbow Six Siege. So catch me on Twitch, look for Movement 6 and catch me stream there. Don't forget to subscribe and like this page. Very appreciated to support the channel. Or go to soundcloud.com and look for Movement 6 as well, and stay up to date on my radio show at egr.com called Comfort Sessions. Until next time, guys, signing off.
Jonah!